Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominick Dougherty and Drew Fasy.
And we are your local guys.
Yeah, Drew, for those of you watching on YouTube, I got a new background here. You commented on my disco ball. This is my wife's disco kitchen I'm in today.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice. You need a light shining on that ball.
Yeah, when I go to the library to keep her happy a couple days a week, sometimes I'll come in and it'll just be like I'm in Studio 54. Well, not that I ever went there. I'm not old enough for that. I'm sure you went there quite a few times in its heyday.
They wouldn't let me in.
No,
definitely not cool enough for.
Not with that long Jackson Brown hair. You couldn't get in.
No. I did have the, back in the day, I had the hair parted down the middle and hair down to my shoulders. I did have that.
No, you and Mr. Potato Head couldn't get in there. Come on, man. I find that hard to believe. So, but no, craziness, sheer craziness. But yeah, my ring light broke, and I was upstairs, and the lighting was just horrible.
Too dark, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. I looked like you in the early episodes. I'm gonna apologize in advance for any awkward noises in the background. My daughter has her friend over tonight, and despite being asked to just kind of relax, the two of them, they're peas in a pod, and they have a good time together. So they're having fun. But sound quality on my end might not be the greatest. So I apologize.
Lucy's having fun.
She is. And like you said the other day, she's a trooper. She gets lugged along to a lot of stuff. So
yeah,
she's having fun with her friend, then so be it.
Yeah.
She's definitely deserves it. So speaking of Lucy, I lug her up to Costco whenever I go once a month. And the kids have been dying to get this like indoor axe throwing Ninja Star game. And she asked me every time we go for the past probably like 6 months. And I said, all right, Lucy, if you can carry it over and get it to the cart, you can have it. So she goes over and she picks this thing up. She gets like 3 feet and drops it. It's like, thump. I'm like, I guess you're not getting it, Lucy. Can't get it here. Picks it up, walks it over, puts it down. She's like, I don't think I put it in the cart down. I'm like, all right, this is good enough. That's fine. I picked the thing up. I think probably weighed like 20, 30 pounds, like half her body weight. She carried it over. So at that point, I was definitely not saying no. So,
and I saw it. It looked like fun.
It is pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. It's a good time. Maybe I'll bring it over one day this summer, and in the pool we can throw some axes and
there you go.
There you go. Have a good time. So, but that being said, we got a heartbreaking shout out tonight. Heartbreaking shout out tonight for sure.
Well, we do. So our first shout out tonight is for to the Ocean City High School boys basketball team. The boys ended their state tournament run today after 2 thrilling victories in the quarter and semifinals this week, Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday was versus Cherry Hill East. The boys were down 19 points at half and came back and held Cherry Hill to 7 points in the second half and won crazy. That game on a buzzer beater.
That's just crazy. 7 points in the second half.
Yeah. It was. They scored 37 in the first half and only 7 in the second half.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, a thrilling game. And then Thursday they hosted Camden Eastside, who was one of the teams that were kicked out of or made ineligible in the tournament last year because of a brawl with another Camden team, and they were the favorites. I mean, they had some athletes. They were a good basketball team, and Ocean City, with their defense and with their team style play held them off and made it to the South Jersey Group 3 championship game held today, Saturday. And Ocean City lost to their longtime rival, Mainland Regional, in triple overtime by 2 points.
Yes, it was an unbelievable game.
Unbelievable game.
Unbelievable game. So fun to watch.
Yeah. If you're a fan of high school basketball, I mean, that game went back and forth the entire game and through 3 overtime periods back and forth.
I think it was more back and forth in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and the overtime games, because up until that, Mainland really in the first quarter and a half, it was a little back and forth. Ocean City controlled the game, and then Mainland kind of went on a big run there.
They did
to close out the first quarter and second half, and they were up 8 with
2 minutes left. They were up 8 with 2 minutes and 1 second left, and Ocean City came back and tied it.
Yeah, shout out! I give a personal shout out to my man Ben. What's Ben's last name? Ben McGarity.
McGonigal.
Ben McGonigal. Ben McGonigal played his brains out.
Ben is a sophomore, only non-senior starter on the team.
Wow.
And Ben is one of the McGonigal family. And if you know Ocean City, you know you can't swing a cat without hitting a McGonigal. They're great people. I'm friends with.
It's like the McLaughlins
all of them.
Of the mainland.
Yeah. Great family. And Ben had a season high 15 points today. Yeah, Ben's a point guard, a sophomore point guard, and he's great defensively, and he's great dishing the ball off, but he's not generally an offensive threat. But Ben wanted to win today, man. Ben went out and did it.
He went after it for sure.
He did.
So hats off to Ben.
Yep. So congrats to Mainland on the win. And I know Ocean City is heartbroken, but congratulations on really a fantastic season. They finished the season 26-4. And their only losses were twice to Middle Township, who's a just a powerhouse, and twice
did they win the Group 2 sectional?
I'm not sure, Dom. I didn't check.
They were in the final there.
Yeah, and I think the favorite. Yeah, they have a heck of a team there.
Yeah, because it wasn't Middle, so they were definitely the favorite, and their other 2 losses were to Mainland. So, if you're only losing to teams that are in the finals of their respective section, that's a pretty successful season.
That's a great season.
Yeah.
Our second shout out is to Ocean City High School senior, Sophia Whalen. Soph applied to 7 schools, was accepted to all 7, and her last one that she heard from was the school that she really wanted to go to, and she just heard this past week that she was accepted, and I believe is going to attend the University of San Diego.
Nice.
I've been through that with my son. When you're accepted to schools, it's a great feeling for a kid, right? And when you're accepted to the school that you want to go to, it's a really great feeling. And I know Soph was really waiting to hear from San Diego, and she was accepted. She's thrilled. Her family is thrilled. Sophie is a triple sport athlete. She excelled in surfing, diving, and spring track. And she's a great student, and she's a great kid, comes from an awesome family. And I know her parents are probably as thrilled as she is to be accepted to USD. So congratulations, Soph.
Congratulations. I had a buddy of mine that went there recently, graduated a few years ago. I think the best story he told me about the University of San Diego is he was in a fraternity there, and fraternity, cracking down on, what goes on in fraternities.
Hazing and what have you. Yeah.
Not so much hazing, just, the underage party scene. So they were trying to get Rush, and his birthday was in the beginning of the fall semester. So they're trying to have a Rush event, and they were all, the university was really cracking down. So they decided they were going to rent a yacht in San Diego and have his birthday party on it, and that was their event to keep it off campus and away from everything. So
wow.
yeah, sucked to have a 21st birthday party on a yacht in San Diego. It's always a good time,
right. I
So-
hear it's a beautiful campus in your Southern California, so the weather's awesome, right?
It never rains in Southern California, I believe, is what they say. So
That's what they say.
that's what they say. Well, tonight's episode is our second installment of the Local Legend series. Joining us on this episode will be Fire Chief Jim Smith. Drew, do you want to give us a little background on Chief Smith here, if you got it, or should we just send
I
an
think
email and get him in?
I think we get right into it, man. I think we take a break if we need to, and
definitely do.
Let
He's
Chief
not here right now.
speak for themselves.
We got to you got to send him an email, get him logged in, all that fun stuff here. You got to get into my world, the technical side here. Although I will admit,
I'm
for those of you who like to watch YouTube, that was all Drew over here and his. Oh, see, I messed up. It's all Drew and his handiwork over here. So, it turns
After
out
Dom had to give me a YouTube for Dummies.
I was going to say,
hey folks, he actually had to come to my house, show me step by step, and I wrote down every step, and was able to learn how to.
You can teach old dogs new tricks, man. You can.
Absolutely.
You can, if they're willing to learn. But no, that's a good thing. All right, well, we'll take a quick break. I will send this email over to Chief Smith, and we'll get things going here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back. Joining us in the studio is Fire Chief Jim Smith. Welcome, Chief Smith. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, man,
Thanks for being on, Chief. Appreciate it.
Yeah, our pleasure, man.
Good to see you.
No easy job for you here. Getting a little downtime in the wintertime, but always busy with ambulance calls and everything else you guys take care of here in the city. Why don't you give us a little bit more of a background as what the responsibilities are for our fire department and what kind of situations they handle on a daily basis.
Well, as you know, in the summertime, we're our busiest. Most people bring problems, and we get a lot of people in the summertime, and that's not in a bad way. It's just more people on the streets, cooking, having issues, accidents, whatever that might be. We're medical, as you mentioned earlier, Dom. It's keeping everybody. We have a lot of requirements we have to meet for the state to stay up to date. So a lot of our wintertime is spent training, extensive training. The membership is very well trained, and they're top notch to start with, and then the training just brings them up a step above. So for the most part, it's the people don't take their homes back to their primary house with them when they leave either. So we have 25,000 units or so that we have to be concerned about. And fortunately, with technology, we get alerted a lot when something's going on, and we have a fairly new community. So in that regard, there's some safeguards in place, but there's still, as you know, still fires that occur.
Top notch is definitely an understatement for you guys. You've handled all kinds of fires. Particularly, I remember the big fire at Castaway Cove a few years back. I was heading over to a buddy's house on the mainland, and I saw this, smoke coming up from the boardwalk. So I went up and checked it out. You guys were there. It was windy. It was cold. Had the smoke blowing right in your face, with the offshore wind that day. But your team kept it under control, and, that was a no joke fire. So, top notch is definitely an understatement for you and your team.
Yeah,
Was that the biggest fire of your career, Jim?
Yeah, definitely, Drew. It was the biggest one that I've had.
Don't ever call me Dom. Don't ever call me Dom.
Yeah, you can't insult me like that, Chief. You can't insult me like that.
I'm going to get it from both sides here. Yeah, that was the largest fire that I've had in my 30 years. And the guys were there before the fire broke out. It was already alerted. It was caught by the alarm system, but it didn't break through yet. And then as they walked around the building and started making its way, and they saw smoke. So the technology did its job. The alarm systems worked, and it triggered it. If not, it could have been a different story.
And the direction of the wind, it could have been a different story if that was blowing north or south, right?
Yes, if it was the day before, we probably would have had lost a few stores. But the personnel, the guys and gals, were able to keep it to the original fire building, which was quite impressive.
Wow.
Definitely.
As opposed to the fire of 1929, was it, Dom? Burned down the whole boardwalk almost. That's when the Flanders purchased land in front and they put the pools in after that fire.
From that fire, it might have been 28, but I'm not sure. But
28,
from
you
that
could
fire,
be right.
the fire department went fully career in July 1st of 1930 following that.
No
Wow.
kidding.
And it was not,
Nice.
I don't think it was a knock per se against the volunteers as much as it was showing a need. We didn't have the fire codes back then as we have now, so you had a lot of shacks, and they needed to have personnel around the clock. So
Definitely.
To piggyback off of what Dom said about being top notch, fortunately, I've only had one interaction with the fire department on a personal level. In terms of, an incident, my neighbor had a fire in her kitchen, and I happened to be in my backyard and went over to help and called. I was barely in the door by the time you guys got there, and the response time was freaking ridiculous. It was so fast. It really made my head spin. And then the professionalism of the guys who showed up was really quite remarkable. It was remarkable how professional and just good they were, and took care of everything for my elderly woman neighbor. It was awesome. It was just awesome.
we have great people top to bottom. So it doesn't surprise me you say that, Drew. But the idea is we want to treat everybody like their family, how we would want our grandmother or our parents being treated. But we don't have to really tell anybody that, because they already have that mindset. They're quality people. They do an excellent job, and we definitely go above and beyond. And you get fantastic service. And it's not to knock anybody else, any other departments around, but I just know from top to bottom that it's all I get is very good thank yous and reviews, and it's nice to hear.
I think I love that term. I used it in business, above and beyond. And the Ocean City Fire Department, the Ocean City Police Department, above and beyond should be your moniker. And I have to say, so you have to have seen personally or know about when there's flooding on West Avenue at the primary school, and you see firemen carrying children into the school so that they don't get their sneakers wet. How many communities get that kind of care and service? Not many. Not many.
Yeah, I don't know how many, but we've done it, and we've carried teachers as well. So I think the city's done a pretty good job recently to help remedy some of that flooding with a lot of the drainage they've done. But yes, there was a time there where it was a regular, hey guys, it's almost time for school. If anybody wants to join, let's go over. And you didn't have to say it twice. They were out there helping. So
I'm sure they were. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm sure they were quality guys. So Jim, I don't know if you, we're calling this the Local Legend Series.
okay.
And it's for your number 2 behind the mayor.
Nice. Good company.
And what we're trying to do is have people get to know you as a person, as opposed to you as Chief Smith.
Sounds good.
So I have
heard that.
Good. So I have a dozen or so questions for you. Nothing difficult, nothing that is going to embarrass you, but just some questions that will help us get to know you better as a man, if that's cool.
Sure.
All right, here we go. You ready, Dom?
Yeah, man. Fire away. Go ahead.
Okay, just checking. Jim, where were you born?
Philadelphia. So born and raised in Philadelphia. Am I going in depth here, or is this rapid fire?
No, we can go rapid fire. What hospital?
Pennsylvania Hospital,
Oh, okay. What high school did you attend?
Father Judge High School.
Judge. Okay.
Oh, lots of Father Judge
Yeah.
alumni in this area now.
Yeah,
My ne-
a lot. It was a good thing to see.
Yeah, my neighbor, Father Judge, yeah. Good dude,
Um,
Greg Shields.
Nice.
Now, this may be for you. This may take a little longer, but
Okay.
what additional degrees and/or certificates have you attained since high school?
It took me a while, but I got my bachelor's degree. I just got certified this month for a chief fire officer, which is a designation from the Centers for Public Safety Excellence, which is international, and I'm very proud of that.
Is that the chief? I'm sorry to interrupt. Is that the school down in outside the? Oh no, that's something different.
No, it's something different. So I
Okay.
interviewed Drew last year for one of my classes. I'm in my final class at the National Fire Academy for the Executive Fire Officer program, which is very prestigious. It is a certificate program, but it's an equivalency of a master's degree. But in the fire service, it's the top point you can get. And my father's actually a graduate of that program as well. So to have a father-son duo, there's only 2 or 3 that I know of. So it'll be pretty proud moment when I get that degree or that certificate.
And I'm sorry, when do you anticipate getting that, Jim?
July, first week of June. I will be down in Emmitsburg, Maryland, at the National Fire Academy to receive that.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Just in time. Just in time.
I know that's a big, big deal. So congratulations.
I appreciate
So
it.
your father, was he a fire chief then as well too?
My dad was a deputy chief in Philadelphia. Yes.
Oh,
So
cool. That's awesome.
he was an icon in the fire service. He was known nationally. He was a national speaker. He taught at the National Fire Academy for 36 years. He was a legend. He wrote for Firehouse magazine. So he already set the stage of what someone needs to be. Most of us in the fire service don't get to the point where he did, and that's okay. But I had a great mentor to show me how to do things. So
awesome.
And Jim, I know you just passed the 2-year mark of losing your dad. So
yep, thank you. Yeah, yesterday was 2 years, and it's a little sad, but at the same time, we had such great memories and a great relationship that the good outweighs the bad. So
that's awesome.
I lost my dad a number of years ago, and when you have a father like that, it's great memories, right?
Dad had a profound mustache. You saw the stash before you saw anything else, and being well known throughout the country, we couldn't go anywhere. We go to Florida all the time, and hey, I know who you are. Hey, Chief, how you doing? So
Is that right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And he went to Judge as well. So Dom, you go to Judge, you know everybody. So
Yeah.
that's how it went.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good stuff. Tell us about your family, your wife and children.
My wife Kate and I were. She was the first girl I kissed in 8th grade. We went to grade school together. High school, as I said, I went to Father Judge. It's an all-boys school.
What grade school, Jim?
I went to St. Leo's.
Leo. Okay.
So, once after 8th grade, we, all our class split apart. We were pretty close. We probably only had about 75 kids in our 8th grade class. So she went to an all-girls school in St. Hubert's. I went to an all-boys school. We got back together 20-some years later, and we started
no kidding.
family. Yep.
Wow.
So I have 3 children. I have an older daughter, Ashley, who is 34, who is giving us a beautiful grandson. And
congrats.
Thank you.
You're a grandfather?
I am.
I didn't know that.
I know.
Wow.
I wear it well.
See, this is why we're here. Okay.
Yeah, we spent last weekend at Great Wolf Lodge with the little guy. It was a good time. And my son Brendan is in 10th grade. You've seen Brendan play hockey and stuff.
Absolutely.
And Brendan's at Fort Union Military Academy down in Virginia. He's thriving. He's doing great. It's a college prep school, and he's doing good things. And Sarah's in 8th grade, and looking forward to going to Ocean City High next year.
Good stuff. Did you play any sports in high school?
I didn't play for school, but I played sports all through school. I'm a little guy, went out there, but I was an okay athlete, but I didn't play for school. But I played soccer, basketball, and baseball throughout high school.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Philly. You're always doing something. You're out in the neighborhood having a good time. You know.
Yeah. I was fortunate. My local rec had all the sports, so it was good.
Nice.
And I'm sure you played half ball. You're from Philly.
Yeah, half ball, step ball. I like step ball too.
Okay.
Wire ball, you name it. Suicide, chink, you name it, we played it.
This isn't on the list, but is there a pair of Converse high tops hanging on a wire in Philly that once belonged to you?
No, because I was afraid my dad would know that I did it, so I did not do that.
Gotcha.
But on my desk here, I do have a wiffle ball. So
there you go.
It's still with me.
Go. So. Jim, what was your first car?
I had a 1983 Oldsmobile. It was like a rust color.
Oh, was it naturally a rust color or did it turn to rust color?
No. It was in good shape.
Was it?
Yeah. It was just a brown, an off brown or something like that. But some great memories in that vehicle. A lot of road trips.
I'll bet.
My buddy put the radio in. There was a bad wire connection, so some days we didn't have music, and sometimes halfway through the trip we got music. So it was interesting.
Good stuff. An Oldsmobile. I'm gonna have to look that up. I can't even picture.
Nothing attractive about it. It was what it was.
It was an old.
That's it. It was a car.
Okay. Breakfast or dessert?
Dessert. Yeah, and I'm not a sharer either. My wife doesn't like that. I'll share a lot of things, but typically not my food.
Well, in the firehouse, that's a big thing. You guys make meals, you cook. That's like part of the camaraderie. So, I can see that.
Dom, some of the best food meals I've ever had is at that kitchen table at the firehouse for $5.
Nice.
And it was
is that right?
Incredible. All you can eat. It's easier to purchase and cook for more than it is just for one or two. Yeah. So if you're at one of the South End stations where there's only a few people, maybe somebody's not eating with you, they're on a diet or have leftovers. It's easier to cook for 8 or 9 or 10 than it is, or just as easy, but it becomes cheaper.
Yeah.
So sure. We've had some great meals. And if you try and diet in the firehouse, Dom, your friends are going to find the ice cream and sit it right in front of you. Test your willpower. But
good.
We do eat well over there.
Okay. Flyers, Eagles, Sixers, or Phillies?
Flyers.
Hockey
first.
Guy. That was
first and foremost.
Yeah.
I love the other ones. Don't get me wrong. I'm not as enamored by the NBA anymore from the NBA I grew up with to what I watch and the rules and ticky-tacky. And some of the hockey's a little ticky-tacky from what I grew up with, but I still like that sport. But I'm a huge fantasy football guy, so I'm a football junkie as well. But
is that right?
I want to see the Flyers win the cup.
I'll tell you what, they're on the right track, man, and a lot faster than anybody thought.
I agree.
Yeah. And I'm with you on the NBA. When did they outlaw defense in the NBA? There's just I have to say, so I'm gonna cut in here. Not for nothing, but there's this conversation about who's the GOAT, LeBron or Michael Jordan. And LeBron played basketball in an era where there's no defense. So he can have all the scoring records he wants, but there's no defense in the NBA anymore. Michael Jordan, he battled every night.
He played the bad boys in Detroit. He got humbled,
Absolutely.
He took a few years off too.
Yeah.
And still he's hands down the GOAT, and they all say it. And there's questions if it's Kobe or LeBron for number 2.
That's the question. I'm going with Kobe, but
right, that's how I feel as well.
That's another conversation. Chief, what is your favorite thing to do as chief?
My proudest thing to do as chief is the 9/11 ceremony. And there's a tradition in the fire service well before we had radios. When we lost a firefighter, there was a death, typically of a firefighter, but sometimes of a historic figure as well, maybe a president. You would ring the bells. So if you remember, you see an old bell, a pull box in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you pull that pull box, anywhere you were in the city of Ocean City, when I got hired, we still had them. It had a ticker tape that came out, almost like Morse code, and how many dots it had, and how many rings would tell you which location you had to go to. They also use that to send messages internally through the department. And so when you rang the 4-5, so 4 times in a sequence, 5 rings 4 times in a row, was this signal, the line of duty death. So the city still keeps up that tradition, at least if anything else, in the 9/11 ceremony for the firefighters who got killed there. So that's my proudest thing to do. The most fun thing to do is to tell somebody that congratulations, here's your job offer. And that's the nicest thing to do and the most fun. You just set somebody up for their career for the rest of their life. And
Sure.
It is the best job in the world. We say that regularly as firefighters, and I believe it in the bottom of my heart. Even when you're working, you're with your buddies, and it doesn't matter what time, if it's raining, if it's cold, you're there as a team, and there's somebody cracking a joke, but you're still doing what's best for the community. So it's the best of all of it combined. So to have the ability to offer that to somebody, that's the best part of the funnest part of the job. My most proud part is to bring in the 4-5.
Good stuff. Okay, so what is your least favorite part of being chief?
That's easy. It's dealing with personnel issues. You know, we're a small department. We have 67 members. You know, I know the good, at least 2/3 of them I've worked with. The last third I've hired in my last 7 years as chief. I've hired 22 members, so 1/3 of the department's got 7 years or less on. So they only know me as the boss, or as a guy in a white shirt at times. But the other ones rode the ambulance with me, and I rode with them, and we did everything that you had to do as a firefighter. So you have a relationship there, and at times people make mistakes, and you have to dole out discipline. It's not fun. I expect them to take it personal. I don't take it personally, but I expect them to. It's impacting them directly. That's just not that's the sucky part of the job is the best way to say it, Drew.
So I would have to say that's the same answer for anyone in any management position, right? Is the personnel part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have, I'm sorry, how many people in the
we have 67,
how many firefighters?
67 uniform personnel.
And how many support staff?
I have one secretary assistant.
Oh, that's it? Just one support?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You're running thin. It is your support staff person my wife's best friend since kindergarten?
Yes, she is.
It is. Sweens.
I had a different view of your wife until I knew she was friends with.
I don't blame you.
If they put their Wonder Twin powers together, I think the universe would be in trouble.
Yeah. So you have. I'm not going to go there. Obviously, I'm steering this conversation back.
I will say Eileen is a rock star, by the way. So
no question. And I have to say, my wife has half a dozen. I don't remember exactly how many. About a half a dozen friends that she has been close, good friends with since they were little, and they're all characters. And Sweens is a character. They're all characters, and I'm happy to be friends with them through my wife. But getting back on topic, because I think we could have another show about Sweens. So you have roughly 68 people under your. That's a lot of personalities. That's a lot of personal lives that you have to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think any manager who has to deal with that many people is going to answer the way you're answering is that personnel issue is always a problem.
Yeah, I think if you don't answer that way, then you might not be doing what needs to be done at times. But it just comes with the territory, for good or for bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
I think it's a little bit more difficult with the nature of their business. You know, literally it's life and death what these guys deal with. And I think that's something like, you know, it's the greatest job in the world. What you guys realize though is that, you know, it's a life or death job. You know, you're running in when everyone's running away. So, you know, like you said, when you ride the ambulance, you do that stuff with those guys, you have a completely different relationship when you're in those kind of situations with them. And then have to turn around and be like, well, you know, hey bud, like, you know, I know this one time we did this, but right now I got to tell you, you can't do that. So it's got to be hard for you to have those decisions and have to have those conversations. You know, so
yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. But
definitely not. But
well, you say it's the greatest job, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say you say it's the greatest job, but it's not the wettest job. It's the fourth wettest job. They just came out with a list of the wettest jobs, and dishwasher and a couple other things are ahead of firefighters.
I wasn't biting on that one. But okay.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
I did not know where Drew was going with that one, so I'm just glad he went with dishwasher. Let's put
Someone came up with a list of the wettest jobs, and I'm only going to tell you that
sometimes you got to put the shovel down when you're digging the hole. Okay.
Hey, listen, I don't know where your minds are. I'm just saying.
All
right, let's get to our next question.
I got
a
question first before you go on to your next question.
Okay.
For those of you watching on YouTube, if you look behind Jim here, you can see a bunch of helmets. What are those? Are helmets back there?
So my camera's flipped, so it's throwing me off. This is my dad's.
See, I'm not the only one that falls for that.
Welcome to Dom's world.
That deals with that.
My dad's firefighter helmet's tin.
Oh wow.
The next one is a lieutenant's that got a little more plastic, and as a deputy chief there. And then on the other side are my helmets. So this is throwing me off big time. My firefighter helmet, my captain's helmet. This last one here I used as a kid. We had a house in Poconos. It was a motorcycle helmet. But if you notice, I don't know if you can read it, but it says fire on there.
Nice.
In the 60s in Philadelphia during the riots, they would ride on the trucks to go to calls and fires. All their apparatus was open. There was no enclosements. So even the front where the driver and the officer sat, there was no roof. It was like a convertible, just nothing there. And then all the other guys would hold on to the sides, going on to a call. So they had a lot of rocks and bottles thrown at them because there's a lot of civil unrest. So they take off the helmet, the tin one over here that was not as protective, and they put on the riding helmet, as they called it, a motorcycle helmet, to protect them. And when they got to the fire scene, they took off the protective helmet, put it down, and they put the less protective tin helmet back on and went inside the building.
Wow, cool.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty neat. So whenever I hang it up, my white helmet will go over there and finish out the collection.
Nice.
Very good. Cool. Good pickup, Dom. That's very cool, Jim.
What I have over here is my dad wrote for Firehouse Magazine for 36 years. In his last article, he was sick. It was his last article he had. I reached out to the editor, and they allowed me to write a companion piece. So
cool.
My first article in Firehouse Magazine matched Dad's last one.
Wow.
And the guys at work, the chief officers at work, were very, very above and beyond, and had it framed for me. And it was very special for me to receive that from them guys. So
that's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so last question. You ready?
Ready.
If you could have dinner with the president or Howard Stern, who would you choose?
The current president?
Yes.
Howard Stern. I'm not biting, Drew.
we can see why you became chief.
That was kind of a softball, I have to say.
Okay.
So So I could have framed that question differently. Any president, the last president, I could have framed the question differently, but
Any
are you a
president-
Howard Stern listener?
No,
No.
No.
you probably could have threw other names out there and it went
I-
that way too.
Yeah,
If you could have dinner with the president or my neighbor's cousin's uncle,
Your neighbor.
All right. So what about this? If we already know you're going to pick Michael Jordan and not
we
LeBron
talked
James,
about
but-
having Michael Jordan in
Yeah.
the mix. We talked about having the Pope in the mix. on
Yeah,
that question.
I'll be honest with you, Chief. When he laid that question out to me, I was like, I don't know, man. That's like I said, if you went with the president, at least you'd get some good ice cream for dessert, and you are a dessert guy. So
I'm an ice
you
cream
know,
guy
other
too.
than that,
Yeah.
I don't think conversation would be too great.
Yeah.
But so
Speaking of which, so because you are an ice cream guy,
he said dessert. That could be anything. You're pigeonholing him into ice cream here. Dessert
okay,
means
so I will go with dessert.
all kinds of things.
But he just said he likes ice cream. But
I did say that.
I meant
Nice.
to give a shout out, and I earlier, and I forgot. But I'm going to give it now. So, have you guys ever heard of Kilwins chocolates and ice cream?
I just saw the posting online.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with it otherwise.
Kilwins is a company, a family-owned company out of Michigan, and they have franchises spreading all over. I think the East Coast, but maybe everywhere. They're a great product. It's really quality product. Chocolates, fudge, and ice cream. My neighbor is opening a Kilwins at 8th and Wesley, and anybody who has had their chocolate or
Right down
had
the
their
street
ice
from me,
cream
that's
is
trouble.
very excited about it. So I want to put that on your radar, Jim.
Very good.
So yeah,
Question:
Yeah.
When there was a fire at Hobby Horse recently,
Mhm.
can you just walk in there now and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're just like, "Oh, here's a scoop on the house, Chief. Like, way to go, guys! You saved the day."
I actually hate the idea that I took my mom to Reddy's yesterday, and if I go in there, Doug gives me a hard time with not paying full price, and I don't care. So the waitress always gets an extremely high tip, but fortunately Doug was not there yesterday, so I enjoyed my breakfast because I was able to pay him full. But Carol has a Hobby Horse, and we go in there and it's all good. There's no extras there, which is fine.
No. See, it's you're part of the community. You support the community, no matter
Yes.
what. So
Yes.
that's the way it works.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
but well,
So
go ahead,
real
Drew.
quick, and we'll try to keep this brief because I know Dom's trying to wrap up here. Jim, is there anything, any goal, anything as chief that you would like to put out to the community that you have as a goal, you have as a just a point of communication to the community that you'd like to offer?
Well, very timely question. We just received word this week that we received a Class 1 ISO status, and we're gonna have a press conference coming up on Monday. ISO sets your insurance rates, primarily commercial, but then many times it trickles down to residential as well. And Class 1 is the best you can get. So out of 40,000 fire departments in the country, roughly, we're about 511th in the country to have this thing. So we're just
Wow.
above the top 1% in the country
Wow.
to get it. Very prestigious, very difficult to get for a smaller department like ours. So that's the one thing. But really, the best thing to do is try not to fight the fire. If that's where you're looking for a message from me, call 911. We'll be there pretty quickly, as you said. Make sure you get everybody out. Close the doors behind you. An open door is just going to push that fire all through your house. The wind effect, especially as we live at the beach, there's always seems to be a breeze coming either from the ocean or the bay. So if there is something going on, close the door behind you if you can, but don't take extra time to do it. But you don't need to close windows and all. But I don't think anybody has windows open anymore except for May, because then the air conditioning comes on. But that would be it. Just be smart. Be careful about what you're charging in your house. all these lithium ion batteries. So the kids have anything with batteries. You got scooters, electric bikes, huge. Golf carts. If we're charging golf carts up, they can overcharge, and the batteries can go a little crazy. So if you have the electric vehicles parked inside your house, I mean, they don't always go up, but when they do, there's no putting them out. That's just how dangerous they are. So it's technology. I said earlier to Dom, technology is helping us notice when fires are occurring by the alarm systems and detectors. New technology with lithium ion and stuff is changing the way we do things as well.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a Tesla fire on YouTube, it just doesn't go out. No matter what you do, no matter what you put on, it just won't go out. It's crazy.
Exactly.
So,
well, that's great stuff, Chief. So we're 1%ers.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I was
very impressive.
It's a proud moment for the department for sure. And then the goal is just to maintain it. Every 5 years, we'll get reevaluated. There's no reason why we can't keep it. The city does a great job of supporting us with personnel and apparatus. It has a lot of different measures and metrics involved with it, and it's all about safety. And basically, it's rating how safe of a department you are. So
awesome. I have to ask. So Sweens was at City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's at the fire department, and you're in the top 1% in the country. Coincidence?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to hear about that. That's a great point you pointed out, though.
please,
and he picks the shovel back up. And he picks the shovel back up. What are we going to do with this guy?
All right.
Well,
we're going to end with that.
Chief, thanks for joining us tonight. It was really awesome to learn more about you, more about the department. Congrats on iOS 1 or am I correct? iOS. I'm a tech guy, Apple. So ISO 1, that's quite an achievement. So, thank you and your department for all your hard work. I have a feeling it might help my homeowner's insurance. So thank you.
I hope it does.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Chief. We appreciate all your guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Take care. Go get some ice cream. Enjoy.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chief.
All right. See you.
See you. What a good guy.
Yes.
Very good caller. Guy. Good call there, Drew. 100%. Yeah. So definitely a legend and doing a lot of things here that will impact the community immediately, and for many, many years to come. So, thank you, Chief Smith, and thank you to all the members of the OCFD out there, putting their lives on the line to keep us safe in the winter, in the summer, 24/7, 365. So thank you, gentlemen. With that said, this has been the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominick Dougherty and Drew Fasy.
And we are your local guys. Peace out.